Hey friend, it is another Rise and Shine Stories Day. We are interviewing Cori Robinson. She's amazing. I've been a follower and fan of hers for many years, like over a decade. So let me invite her in and we can start this conversation. Let's find Cori, and I hope this conversation is great for you. So, all right. Let's see, she's coming. Hello, Cori. How are you?
Hi, good.
I'm glad that it worked. You
Yeah,
know,
I was
it's
like,
actually
I
been
have no
really
idea how I'm doing.
it's actually been really funny to see like everyone that I've been interviewing, like not very many people are used to going live. And so it's a learning curve. And I think it's a beautiful lesson because like our whole conversation is going to be about getting outside your comfort zone. So you
Yeah.
guys are testament, like you're like living the thing. All
Yep.
right. Well, let me just do a quick intro for those who have never watched one of my Rise and Shine story interviews. I am Jo Ellen. I am a beauty coach, and I help women rise from the inside out. And I love interviewing women of all ages and stages. In their life to like hear their story and to help inspire other women who are watching to get
Yeah.
outside their comfort zone and to rise in any stage of their life. So today we're interviewing Cori Robinson.
Hi.
I shared with them quickly before you got on that I have been following you like from your very beginning. Like probably when my son was like 3 and he's 20 now.
Oh my
So I
gosh.
mean, like I think that's probably right though, right? Haven't you been online for that long?
Yeah, I think so.
15?
I'm trying to think. I started, I think, um, like I don't know, like in 2010 or 11. I think my
Yeah.
daughter Hannah, who's 21 now, was in kindergarten when I started. So
Yeah, so a
it's been a long
long
time.
time. Yeah, a long time. Well, let me give a quick intro to you and then we'll go into some questions. Okay, so Cori is a mom to 5. She's been a blogger and influencer for, like we said, many years, probably 15-ish years. You started a clothing line at one point. You
Mhm.
share fashion tips, and you take us alongside your journey of restoring your old New England farmhouse. So
Yeah.
it's been really cool to see your evolution over the years. But I feel
Yeah.
like you've had one thing consistent. You've always been a light and you've always shared
Oh,
goodness.
thanks.
And so thank you for doing that.
Thanks.
So let's go into the questions that we have for you today. So
Okay.
you started your brand early, raising little kids,
Yeah.
blogging about style, and then you launched your clothing line. What was the spark or the moment when you realized that you needed to lean into your creativity and share it online?
Yeah. So, I would say I've always been a maker. It's funny because one of my kids, my fourth, my daughter Ava, it's funny to raise someone that's similar to you. She's like, I always say she's compelled to make because she's just always making something. And I relate to that so much because that's how I've been my whole life. Like, I love to create something that didn't exist before. It doesn't really matter if it's like what it is. It could be a piece of clothing or a cake or just whatever. And my mom really treated, she was a stay-at-home mom, and there were 6 kids in my family growing up, but she never acted like it was a drag, although I'm sure it was hard to raise 5 daughters and have a son with special needs. But she treated homemaking like it was an art and like she was an artist. And that's the way she acted in our home. And like it was just very inspiring to me. So when I became a mom, it just felt really natural to also be doing creative things all the time with my kids in tow. And around the 2010s is when like blogging kind of
Mm-hmm.
became a thing. And I'm very short, like freakishly short.
So
And I had
how
a
short are
really,
you? How tall
I'm
are you?
4'11".
It's tiny. We need people of
Yeah.
all shapes and sizes. So
Yeah.
like I am almost a full foot taller than you.
Yeah. Like people are always like, "Oh, your husband's really tall, right?" And I'm like, "No. He's like very average, but when he's standing next to me, it makes him look like he's tall."
Yeah.
In fact, sometimes I'll be like out and about and I'll see someone that's like really short and I'll like kind of like nudge my husband and be like, "Did you see how short that lady is?" And he's like, "That's how short you are." And I'm like, "What?" Like just not aware. But it was just so hard for me to find clothes once I became an adult. Until I had kids, I could like basically wear kids' clothes.
Mhm.
But then once I had babies, like I couldn't get my hips in like kids' pants because they're not made for like birthing hips.
Mhm.
So I just had a really like rough time for a few years because I couldn't find anything that fit my body. And I just felt kind of ridiculous. Like I was in my late 20s and I didn't know how to dress my body because there weren't clothes that fit. And so
Mhm.
I was like, one day I was like, I'm just going to figure this out. I'm going to figure out how to dress so I feel confident. I'm going to figure out how to alter my own clothes so that they can actually fit my body. I'm going to figure out how to do all this stuff. Um, and yeah, I just started sharing it because I figured if I have a problem finding clothes that work for me at this size, I'm sure there's other people. And then it just kind of took off. So
I
that's
love it.
where.
I think I resonate with you. I think because my mom was a similar way. She was a homemaker, but she made it look like an art. And I do. I
Yeah.
love have a love for creation, and I think a lot of women do. I think that's kind of like one of our innate, I
Hmm.
guess, gifts is that we create, and it could be like anything, like you said. It could be in the
Yeah.
kitchen, it can be in clothing, it can be in the workplace. Like just
Yeah.
creating. I think that's part of who we are. So
Oh,
I
I
love that you
definitely think so.
I love
Yeah.
that you leaned into that and you are sharing your creations with us so that we can be inspired to do that in our own homes
Yeah.
and lives. So that's
Yeah.
great. All right. So, how did faith and family influence your decision to build an online presence from home? And then were there times where you questioned it?
Yeah. I mean, my faith influences every single thing I do. Like my faith in God and Jesus Christ are the most important thing to me. And I feel like it's the thing that it's been like the framework and the foundation of everything I do in life. I think that the like compulsion to create comes directly from God. I mean, He is the most creative being in the universe and we're His children. So, um, to me, I feel like that when I create or when I just hope like I can inspire people to make their life a little more beautiful and to lean into like it's not to say that life isn't hard um because it can be hard but I try not to focus on the negative stuff and if I can just help people feel a little happier and a little inspired to pick up a paintbrush or get dressed if they've been in sweats and they're feeling down and like oh actually think I'm going to get dressed today and then they feel better and they have a better day with their family and in their life then I feel like that I don't know it just kind of shines the light I definitely had times where I questioned things um, I initially wanted to do this because being a mom has always been very important to me, and being like very present with my kids is the most important thing to me because, and I now know this, I have, 5 kids and they range in ages from 21 to 3. So I have my third is about to turn 18 on Sunday. And so I basically have 3 grown kids, and then I have like a middle
Mhm.
schooler and a toddler. And the one thing that I know now for sure is that like children grow up, and you kind of don't realize that when you're in the thick of it in the parent in like the little years. You're like, this is gonna last forever, but it actually doesn't last forever. They do grow up, and oh my gosh, it's making me choke up. Um, I just knew that I would always regret if that wasn't like where I put my focus because
Mhm.
I watched my mom, like, we all grew up, and then she's had 30 years to like do whatever she wanted, basically. And so I always had this feeling that like there was different stages, and I wanted to be present with my kids when they were home. And gratefully, I have a wonderful husband who's been so supportive of that and made it possible. Not that we haven't had to make tons of sacrifices to do that, but that was important to me, but I still wanted to do something, and I really liked that I was able to contribute to our family financially, but also fulfill that like creative drive in me, but do it from home and do it with my kids. I as you mentioned earlier, I had a clothing line that I shut down. It's been about 10 years ago now. I think it was 2015 when I closed the doors on it, and the reason was because I loved doing it, but the year that we had like our biggest year, that we had our best year, that December. Christmas is always like a huge time for retail, as everyone knows. And that December, we had had like this like massive amount of success. And I was working, I had a studio. We lived in Seattle at the time, and I had a studio and some employees. And I was working like so much. Like I would be there for 14 hours a day. And I remember like we were just working so hard to get all the orders out, to get everything, because we did some in-house stuff. Was some of the stuff was made in-house, and some of the stuff was made by a small manufacturer in Seattle. But um I was just like working these crazy hours to get everything out the door. And I remember leaving the studio on the last day, like before the Christmas holidays. Like we had shut the shop down so no one could buy anything over the holidays. And I was driving home, and I felt so relieved that I had gotten all the work done. And then I suddenly just started crying because I realized that I had been so disconnected from my kids, and the whole Christmas season was over, and I was so preoccupied the whole time
Mm,
with that. And it just hit me like a ton of bricks. I feel like it was the Holy Spirit was speaking to me like, this is the thing that you're going to regret missing, and you're not going to regret not having your own clothing line. And so I just I went home, I prayed about it, I talked to my husband, and I said like, I think I want to think about shutting this down. And it took like 5 months. You have to go through some stuff to shut down a business like that. Um but we did, and I've never regretted it because I was able to completely um change directions, and be present with my kids. And it's interesting because I think that God asks us to take leaps of faith sometimes that feel
mm,
like terrifying. Um, I've been able to make just as much money doing like content creation, as I made doing clothes, but it's
wow.
like a tenth of the time. So
Mhm.
I didn't, at that point, that wasn't really like a thing. You couldn't really make money as a content creator. Like brands weren't paying you. There was no way to make money unless you made your own products. And so I
Mhm.
had to kind of like step out into the dark without a plan on that, but no regrets. So,
Well, I think it's cool that as we have a close relationship with God, like He will always guide us and direct us
yeah,
in our seasons, like that.
yeah,
For that season, that clothing line was good for you, but then it got to a point where it wasn't working
yeah.
anymore. So then He gave
Yeah,
you
and I
another
loved
step.
it. I loved doing
Yeah.
it so much. I loved all the people that would buy clothes for me. I still get messages from women that I made clothes for saying like, I still have the dress that I bought from you like 10 years ago. And I love that. I love it so much. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's just I wanted to be present.
Yeah,
And
a
now
new
that my
chapter.
daughter's grown up and my son's grown up and my other
Mhm.
son's almost grown up, I'm like, I'm so glad I didn't miss that. Whew.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so great. I think it's a good reminder for us to always just be close to that um, spirit to know what is best for us in that time and
Yeah.
season of our life. So, and
Yeah.
like you still were able to create, but just in a different way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just kind of evolved.
Yep.
Well, that's
Exactly.
great. So now you're restoring your old New England home, which it is so
Yes.
fun. I just love it so much. Like it just looks so cozy. It's
Yeah,
full
it
of
is.
creeks and character. And what does that journey teach you about patience, vision, and transformation for your home and also for yourself?
Um, oh my gosh. So, I would say it's like it's such a interesting experience. Anytime we go to do a project in the house, I'm not like surprised by it anymore, but the first couple times I was like shocked. I was like, this will be easy. And then we would like take a wall down and be like, oh no, like what's happening back here? Like everything needs to be fixed. Like the problem is so much bigger than you
Mm,
think it'll be. And it takes so much longer to fix it, and skills that you totally did not have before. And it can't be fixed like in a normal way because you have to work around all of this old stuff, like old
mhm.
beams, um, and old like plumbing and just things like that. It's just taught me to like slow down and to kind of roll up my sleeves and not to be so scared. It also has taught me that like most things in life are fixable, like even if it gets a little worse before it gets better. Usually like if you just keep like put your nose to the grindstone and keep working on it, you're gonna figure it out and just have fun with it. Don't be
Okay,
scared.
that's great advice. I heard a
But you
quote the
know,
other
it is a
day.
little scary sometimes. The
Yeah, it's
stuff we find
scary,
on the
but
walls is a little scary.
the more we survive. I heard a quote the other day. It was like, "You have survived 100% of your worst days. That's a great track
Yes.
record." I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
that's a really great thought." So even
I
though
love
it's
that quote.
scary, it's like you will make
Yeah.
it through. Like you'll
Yeah.
learn and you'll grow in the process. So I think that's
Yeah.
a great lesson.
Yeah.
So how do you balance restoring your physical space, your home, and then creating your closet space, your style and your brand?
Yeah. So with my clothes, I went through a period of time where I felt like I just bought so much stuff. Just like anything I thought was cute, I would buy. And then I had so many clothes that I wasn't wearing and like I would wear it once and I'd kind of like not like it that much and then never wear it again. And I would say probably like 5 or 6 years ago, I went to kind of do a clean out my closet and I was so disgusted by how much stuff I hadn't been wearing and I got rid of. Like I was like, this is ridiculous. This is like a ridiculously wasteful way to run a closet. And that's when I started like really looking into building like a capsule wardrobe and understanding like my style better. And it's kind of sad that it took me till my mid 30s to figure that out, but it is what it is.
You can never.
So anyway, I built a capsule wardrobe and I realized like I was having so much more fun getting dressed. And so like I was so much more intentional. I had way less stuff, but I was way better and it was easier to get dressed. And I liked what I was wearing every day and I was way more creative. And so that has totally just made me think about the way that I design my house too, like is just being so much more intentional with every space. How am I using this space? How do I want the space to feel? How does my family like to use this space? And then, and the same thing with like bringing things into my home, not bringing, just bringing random stuff into my home, but like I have to like even if I see some I love thrift shopping. I loved like vintage shopping. Like I could spend all day on Facebook Marketplace. Like if we talk about like doom scrolling, like I don't really do that on like Instagram or TikTok, but like I will spend so many hours scrolling Facebook Marketplace for like some cool vintage find. Like
Uh-huh.
and it's like I have to be like, get off your phone, like do something else. But I try not to bring things into my home unless I know already like I have a space where or I can see where it will fit in with what I'm trying to create or build. So just being like a little more intentional and then being kind of ruthless with what I bring in and ruthless with what I release when things aren't serving me or our family anymore, just get it out of here. Like
So
same thing with
smart.
my closet.
So
So
smart. I had that same realization when we lived abroad. I was like, we have
yeah,
so much junk that I didn't,
yeah,
and as I've like been rebuilding my closet and redesigning my home as we are now back in the States, it's like
yeah.
you have to be so much more intentional and you love your things so much more. So
Oh yeah.
it's going to
Yeah.
take
The
more
things I
time.
have, I love so much. And
Yes.
that's exactly the way that I want it to be. Like everything that I have in my closet is something that I feel like, oh yeah, I want to wear this today. It's
Hmm.
like, and if I go through a whole season and I haven't worn that thing, it's like you're out of here. You have to earn your spot.
Yeah.
Especially because it's an old house, so our closet is small. Like when we lived in
True.
Seattle, we just lived in a newer house and we had a really big, like, primary room closet, like everyone does. And then we moved in, and old houses are not like famous for having tons of storage.
Mhm.
We're trying to like slowly add more and build it in, but our closet is not big. And I was like, I'm going to have to get rid of some stuff. There's too much
Yeah.
stuff.
You don't
So.
have space for it. It's like you can't.
There's no
Yeah.
space, yeah. And I
Yeah.
thought, oh, I'll store it. And then, but the thing is, I would store stuff and forget I
Forget
even
about
owned
it.
it. And I would never go get it. And it'd be like 2 years and I'd be like, oh, that sweater. I guess I don't need it, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, I
yeah.
just went through my closet and I switched out my warm weather stuff for my cold weather stuff. And I was like, oh, I miss these things. They're like my friends
Yeah.
because like you have created so much intention in purchasing good, high quality things that you love. And so it's a
Yeah,
lot, like you said, it's a lot more enjoyable to get dressed when you have put forth
totally.
that effort.
Totally.
So let's see. Okay, so you share simple meal plans for families so you can
Yeah.
enjoy daily dinners together. Why is that meaningful to you?
Um, dinner time is like so important. We always say in our house, like food is memories. Like,
Mm,
um, there's just this moment, like there's tons of studies that have been done on this, like the benefits of having dinner every night with your kids are like the amount of effort you have to put in versus like the benefit that your children get out of having daily dinners together is like you can't even compare. And a lot of times that's meant like we've made choices like about how many extracurriculars my kids were going to take on, because that was a priority for our family. And like I talk about this a little bit. I even wrote a post about it on my blog a little while back about like creating an intentional family culture, um, because and which I'm so passionate about. And it's like my family culture doesn't have to be your family culture or anyone else's. But I think every family should intentionally create a culture because you are creating one, whether you realize it or not. And so you might as well like make a plan and
yeah.
execute it so that it becomes that. Family dinner time is so good to like reconnect and to talk and to plan, and like I feel like our family has grown up around the dinner table. Like we have had so many like important and moments, big and small, around the dinner table that were just, and it's just this daily rhythm that just knits us together. And I know how hard dinner time can feel for women, like
Mhm.
for anyone. Like it's like I just did this whole day and now I have to figure out what I'm going to make for dinner. Like that's the worst thing ever, is like you're like I'm so tired and I have to figure out what to make for dinner. And so meal planning kind of changed my life a couple years ago when I kind of like rolled my eyes at meal planning, always like what a drag. And then I realized the real drag was like trying to figure out what I was going to make for dinner every night, instead of having a plan and knowing that I had all the stuff that I needed. I never have to worry about it now. I just like I know exactly what I'm making for dinner tonight. I know I have everything I need. All I have to do is just go do it. And then I always plan our meals around like what we have going on. So, like my middle schooler is in soccer right now, so she has soccer games 2 days a week, in the evening, or till like right before dinner time. So I always plan out like something that I can throw together earlier in the afternoon and put it in my Dutch oven and stick it in the oven to stay warm, or something that can be put together in like 15 minutes and ready to go so that when we get home, everyone can sit down and eat. Rather than getting home and being like, there's nothing for dinner. I didn't
Yeah.
make anything, or, all that. So yeah, it's such a great thing. My kids like, it's funny because when it's their birthday, they never ask. I'm always like, what do you want for your birthday? And they never really ask. It's never the first thing that they say is never like the gifts they want. It's always like, oh, can you make me like cinnamon rolls for breakfast? And then can we have this for dinner? And I'm like, yeah, but also what was it? I meant like the gifts, but it's always around the food. Like food is
Mhm.
such a thing for our family. Food, I love food. I love good food. Like if I'm traveling, like I don't really care about like buying stuff, but I'm like, I want to eat all of the good
Food.
things,
Yes,
everything good,
100%.
and I want to
Yes.
enjoy it. Like, my daughter's in Paris doing a study abroad right now, and I'm like, what did you eat today? Like, every day, I'm like, so what did you eat today? Tell me all the Parisian food that you ate today. So,
It is amazing how many like memories are created around food, like around the dinner
yeah.
table, around a restaurant table with your friends and family. Like food is really the center
Hmm.
of our culture,
Yeah.
and especially if you make it a family culture thing. And so I love that you
Yeah.
have prioritized that, and then you've also
Mhm.
had created meal plans for us to make it easy for our families too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
All right, so I love following you because you're so positive. And it doesn't mean that you're always positive, but you choose to show up on, in a
Hmm.
positive way online.
Yeah.
But where do you find hope through those seasons that feel hard, like creatively, emotionally, or in your family?
Yeah. Um, so thank you, first of all. That was very nice. My hope always comes first from Jesus Christ. Um, he's the author of joy and
Mm.
hope and light. And um, in 2013, so we had a stillborn baby girl, and I really struggled for like years after to feel joy. I had really like debilitating postpartum anxiety
Mhm.
because of that. It was also depression, but it was like, it was so bad, like that, like the color kind of felt like it went out of life.
Mhm.
Um, and we go to church every Sunday. I would go to church and I would feel like nothing. Like I felt like I was dead inside. And I remember saying to myself, like I don't care how long it takes before I feel the spirit again. I'm never going to stop coming to church. I'm never going to lose my faith. It doesn't matter how long it takes. And it's funny because Corey Tenboom, she's this
Mm.
amazing Holocaust survivor,
I love
used to
her
write
book.
about faith. And one of the things that she talked about, this was like in reference to forgiveness, but I always kind of like apply it to anything, is like she said, like forgiveness is an act of will. And I kind of agree with that in every way. Like faith, choosing to be positive is an act of will. And um, I also learned this from my mom, who like struggled her whole life, has struggled with very bad depression. And one of the things that we've talked a lot about is like she would always get up and get dressed and ready for the day. And get moving, because one of the things that makes depression so hard is that like one of the um, aspects of it is this thing called rumination, where you sit and like ruminate on all the bad thoughts that are making you depressed. And a lot of psychologists have talked about it, like what rumination does is it actually makes depression worse. So even though you feel like you need to sit and kind of like stew in this like sad feelings, what you actually need to do is like get up and get moving and like signal to your body, like, we're not doing this, we're doing that,
Mhm.
we're doing something else. And so um, for me, just like trying to like keep moving forward, even when things feel hard. And I always feel better when I get up and get moving and get busy. And like the sun, turns out the sun does come out tomorrow. Like
Mhm.
you don't stay in it forever. I remember feeling like when we were burying our daughter, being like, I do not want this life. Like I don't want to have a baby buried in a cemetery with a headstone. Like I don't want to be one of those moms. Like how is this my life? Like how am I ever going to get over this? Like, and you don't really get over it, but you do learn to be happy anyway. And um it kind of becomes like this beautiful part of your story. I think that the hard things that we've gone through, the hard things that experience has softened me and made me a kinder person, because people were being kind to me in that time,
Mhm.
just strangers that had no idea what I was going through, and they had no idea like that they were lifting me up. And so I hope that I'm lifting someone up every day. Like that's one of my prayers, is like, please just help me lift someone
Mhm.
that maybe needs it, or even if they don't need it. I just
Yeah.
hope that anyone that interacts with me feels the love of the Savior from the way that I'm treating them. That's the way my mom always treated people. Anywhere we went, she always made people feel seen, and like looked right at them, said something kind to them that was personal, not just like trite, but that's the way she treated everyone that she interacted with. And that really like made a huge impression on me as a kid. It was like, man, everywhere my mom goes, she makes people feel so good
Mhm.
and seen and like cared about, from like the person at the drive-through to the teller at the bank back when you used to have to go in to do bank stuff. Um, yeah. So
I
yeah,
love that. It's like positivity, joy, happiness. It's a choice, right?
yeah,
And that's something that we just need to always be reminding ourselves. And I like what you said. Everyone goes through hard things, and those hard things we can choose to like let them hold us back, or we can choose to learn from that and gain that empathy and treat others with more love and
yeah,
kindness, just like Jesus Christ would. So thank you
yeah.
for that reminder. All right. Well, last question is, what does rise and shine mean to you? Not just in your outward growth, but also in your internal transformation.
Well, I would say, I think about in the Bible, we learn about like the parable of the talents, like, and Jesus is basically teaching us like that you're given gifts, and like we're supposed to, for whatever you've been given, we're supposed to take them and like make more of it, make more of it, make more of yourself. Um, and what I love about um, that parable is that some people got more than other people, and some people made more than, or made more of it than other people. Um, he's happy when you took whatever you had and did something with it,
Mm,
and um, it doesn't matter if it's as much as the next person or less than, as long as you take what you have and make something of it. And that's what I try to like do in my with myself, and I try to teach my kids. And the biggest way I do that is like by kind of trying to push myself, like to try things that scare me a little bit, like
mhm,
do something new every day, like not just sit still, but try to grow
mhm,
as a person creatively, try to be a better person every day, try to be better today than I was yesterday with my kids. um yeah, like I think we're not supposed to, like Jesus says, like come as you are, but I'm not going to leave you as you are. I'm
mhm.
going to make you something more. And I'm trying to let him change me and help me become who he knows I can be. And so staying really connected to my savior is a huge part of that, and like letting him kind of like teach me what he needs me to learn and where I need to improve, and um, just be a partner with him as a person. So,
I love that. It's beautiful. I think that's like my whole series in a nutshell. Like the whole purpose of this, like interviewing different women, is to help inspire us to get outside of our comfort zone, to not be still, to not just
mm,
like take our talents and hide them, but to take our talents and to multiply them.
yeah,
We're not meant to just coast through life. We're meant to
no,
learn, to grow, to serve others, and to shine. And so I
yeah,
hope that this interview today gives you, me, those watching, like some inspiration, some motivation to shine more in your life, to get outside of your comfort zone, to live bigger, better lives, because that's how God meant us to be. So thank you
yeah.
so much, Cori, for joining us today,
Oh
and I
yeah,
really appreciate it. For and if anyone has any questions, put them in the comments below. But yeah, have a fabulous day, and
thank
we will
you.
chat later. Okay, bye.
Yeah, bye.